Hey guys, so I'm finally ready to reveal my 2017 bullet journal. I started mapping out my way through my yearly and monthly goals, and I wanted to share with you what that looks like. First and foremost, I am not a pro. I have just gone through my fair share of planners, journals, notebooks over the years, and have realized that bullet journaling fits me perfectly. If you're somebody who likes to be on top of your goals, who really enjoys planning, who may even want to tap into their creative side of thinking, which is me, though you don't have to be creative or super artsy to bullet journal, it is nice if that is a passion of yours and you would like to incorporate that into your bullet journal, as I'll show you today. So as I said, I'm not a professional. I'm a hobbyist at best when it comes to bullet journaling. I actually just started this year in 2016. I decided I would do a practice run for a few months and see if it's something that I would enjoy going into 2017, if it's something that I could really do and stay consistent with. And I did, and absolutely fell in love with the concept of bullet journaling. So I wanted to share with you a few thoughts, few tips and tricks that I've learned over the last few months and that I will incorporate into my now 2017 journal. So this is what works for me. You may choose different areas that you want to focus on, or maybe there's something that I share that inspires you to pick up your pen and paper and start journaling in the new year. So the first thing I did was really think about what I wanted 2017 to look like. And every year I choose a word that keeps me focused and centered. And my chosen word for 2017 is simplify. So as most of you know, I am a passionate entrepreneur. I'm an ultra runner. I'm a mom. I try to get my hands into a lot of things like bullet journaling. So I, with all of that, created a lot of madness in the past years. Good madness, but it was pretty chaotic. And now that I have some pretty solid systems in place, I'm looking to streamline, simplify my life, simplify my family's life, and my business in general. So I decided my chosen word for 2017 would be simplify. So if I go through and share with you each of these pages, the common theme is to simplify. So here we go. So the first spread that I put together is how will I simplify in 2017. So these are really centered around four major areas: our home and our family life, my health and wellness, our business, and our finances. So when I think about things that will help me simplify in 2017, I categorize those in those major areas of life, and then I just start putting down some of those high-level goals so that as I plan and as I put things in my journal, I'm always coming back to this main page to make sure it's honoring my chosen word of simplify. So you can certainly, when you choose your word, you can certainly choose to put in this spread. It does help when you start setting goals monthly and weekly. So as I get started, I have my 2017 at a glance calendar. I just created that January to December, so anytime something comes up, I can quickly look at the date and the day that it corresponds to. Because I'll probably use this often, I chose to put a phrase on my right-hand side that would keep me centered and focused, and I absolutely love this. I actually cannot take credit for this spread. I saw it in Pinterest or maybe even just Googling. I absolutely loved it, and I decided I wanted to incorporate it into my journal. So I handwrite everything. I enjoy being creative. I don't want that to discourage you. A lot of people get templates. Some people print off their fonts and they will use it as a way to scribe. So this is my handwriting. I like doing it in that way. So you can choose to do it whichever way you'd like. So the next section, I go from my yearly calendar at a glance, I go into my future log. A future log is a way to quickly write down things that come up in the year that may not have a spread yet, which I'll show you, that you need to put down on your log so that when you plan for that month, you know of those things that have come up. So I know that we're taking a trip at the end of April, so I will be putting in my April trip on my future log. We also have some trips in July and November, so I will put those in those logs. And it's just a way to write down the date and what it is that's coming up, so you always know in advance what is on your future log. I also rolled it over to 2018, the first 3 months, because when we get to December and something comes up for the new year in 2018, I wanted a place to put that so that when I create my new journal in 2018, I can quickly grab those important dates. Again, I just did another spread with a quote that helped me stay focused on something future-like, since I just did my future log. So this worked out well for me. I just Google different words to see what it comes up with. I do not come up with these phrases myself. That would be too hard, and I wanted to simplify that, so I grabbed them from the internet. The next thing I go into are what are called collections. These are collections of information that are important to me. So they may not be important to you, but these are the spreads that I wanted to share with you that I am going to collect information on throughout the new year. So these are yearly type data collections. So books that I want to read or that are recommended in my line of business. I am a coach. I enjoy reading personal development. I have business related books, and then also just fun and pleasure books that I will also categorize. So as people suggest things, I'm going to put them down if it's something that I want to read. And then as I read the books, I'm going to write then the title of these books and color them in so I can track that. So at the end of the year, it's a great way to look at your spreads and see just how many books you've read. The next spread that I have is running. So as I said, I'm a runner, I'm an ultra runner, so I like to track all of my races. These are current races planned for 2017. And then as I register, sometimes I walk right up to a race and just register on site. I'll write them in under each of the months. And then I love running. So as part of my exercise, I will track every single mile that I run. This is 5 pages worth of squares so that at the end of the year, I will have hopefully ran, if things go well, 2,300 miles. So again, I just drew something nice. I counted out the squares, so I actually knew I actually messed up, which is a point I want to make. You will mess up. So I actually messed up that row and my arrow, but you know, that's how it goes. The next collection I had is something I am so excited about, is Kids Say the Darndest Things. And my husband and I have 2 girls who often have very fun conversations with each other. So I saved 10 pages to collect those conversations and document them. And I cannot wait to do that part because it is really exciting for me. Again, as I mentioned, I'm a business owner, I'm a fitness coach. So part of this spread is tracking my social media data. So these are stats to track. I'm on Facebook, I have a blog, I'm also on Pinterest, Instagram, YouTube, and I send newsletters. So for me, tracking at the end of this year what those stats are, and then seeing the growth at the end of each quarter in next year. So quarter 1, quarter 2, quarter 3, quarter 4, I'll collect those same data elements and see where I need to focus or where there's been growth in my business and maybe where I want to refocus going forward. So you can also collect data on your business. The next one, because it's going to be a large focus and I know that it's an area that has been very attractive for those that I help, is my blog, my website. So I am going to spend some time thinking of blog posts that's going to add value to my customer base. So I'm just going to document any blog post ideas that come up on these 2 pages. I made a fun little diagram, a little light bulb, to make it fun. Now that concludes my yearly collections and data elements. So for me, that is what I'm going to focus on in the new year. And as things occur throughout the year, I will put them on those pages. Now, if we work our way to the actual monthly spreads, I created my January spread, which shows you how I lay out my days. So these are probably similar to the calendars that most people have when they pick up a planner off the shelf. For me, in the way my brain works, I have morning activities, afternoon activities, and evening activities. So these are the days of the month. I put the corresponding day next to each date, and then as I plan out my month, I will have things that I do in the morning, things that need to get done in the afternoon, and things that come up for the evening. Most of the time, these are just appointments. So when I have an appointment, I'll put it in and plug it in there. If I have meetings in the evenings for my business or for my coaches, I'll plug those in. If the girls have dance or soccer or anything else that comes up school related, I'll plug those in. So it's just like using your calendar, but in a vertical layout. And on this side, I track my goals for the month. I have both personal and business related goals. I want to run 40 miles in January. I want to make sure that I work out at least 25 days in January. And then I also have all of my daily nutrition through our Shakeology, which is also every single day. I gave myself 1 day to spare on that. If I happen to forget, which won't happen, so I'll put in another circle when I have it every single day. So this keeps my goals in front and something that I can track. I just plug in those bubbles. I color them in each time I complete that. So something I want to say is that the actual act of crossing something off or coloring in a box is a serotonin hit. It's a happy emotion, right? So when it happens, you're more likely to continue and want to continue to strike out those boxes. So that's why I collect this. It's very positive reinforcement for someone when they see them making progress. When you see yourself making progress. So that's why I do this. This is the way I do it. Some other people might do it other ways. This works really well for me. And then when it comes to the business, I want to help 10 new people with a push goal of 2. So that's why you see 12 there. My goal is 10. I want to really hopefully push for 12. I want to welcome 3 new team members. Again, with a push goal of 4. I'm going to create 4 newsletters with a push goal of 5. And I want to have, in 2017, since I know my blog is taking off, I want to make sure that I blog every single day with a push goal of 2 extra blogs. So that is what I track on my goals tracker of my monthly spread. Now, the next couple pages are just in terms of what I want to track monthly. So I want to start tracking my spending because, and like my quote says, just because I can buy it doesn't mean I should. And I want to simplify in 2017, which means I'm limiting my possessions and my children's possessions. So one of those goals that I wrote down in the home and family and also in the finances is to limit and track my spending. So I want to do that on a monthly basis so I can make any adjustments I need as I go. This is a very healthy practice, especially if you're budgeting or tracking spending, because when you start to see patterns, you can make adjustments so that you get back on track. Or if I see a line of Target, I know I need to stop going to Target. Also, if I know I'm going to need to write it in this, I'm less likely to buy it because it's like punishment. I gotta write it in my journal, so I might avoid it. So I really wanted to focus on watching our spending month to month. Now, when it comes to to-dos, which is really what the bulk of the rest of the journal will track, is getting that stuff off of your mind. Bullet journaling really helps put thoughts, plans, goals to paper, and those never-ending to-do lists we have. So I brain dump anything that comes to mind starting today that I need to do in the new year. I'm gonna just start listing it in my January brain dump, because the next page I'm gonna show you is how I prioritize my to-dos and tackle them every day to be the most productive I can possibly be. So anything that comes up for the month, I'm gonna just put on my brain dump page. Now the next spread we get into is our weekly spread. So this is really what I work off of every single week. So when I come to my weekly spread, I go back to my brain dump and say, okay, brain dump, what are my priorities for this week, the first full week in January? And I put them in categories of my personal to-dos, business, coaches, groups, blogs, and newsletter. So if I have anything on my January brain dump spread that I want to work on the first week, I will put them in those categories. Then I go into when I actually start planning the week on Sunday, every night before I go to bed, I say, okay, Leslie, of everything that you said you want to do this week, what do you want to work on Monday? Because obviously I can't do everything the first day. So then it's a way to filter down your priorities into actual tasks. So once I get through my brain dump, I say, okay, I want to do this business activity, I need to do this for my group, and I want to do a newsletter on Monday. I will write those 3 items on Monday. So when I wake up Monday morning, I know exactly what I need to do, and I want to cross those off before I go to bed on Monday night. If I have any appointments, so what I do is I go back to my monthly spread and say, okay, this first full week, are there any appointments? I'll just put them down in my appointment. So I really work. This is my working spread. This is how I am productive every single day. It is a fantastic way to plan. It's a fantastic way to prioritize, and it's a wonderful way to get stuff done. So I put my appointments in, I put my priorities in, my brain dump is there so that on Monday when I'm ready for bed and I look at my task, I say, did you do 1, 2, and 3? Yes, I did. Cross them off. What do you want to do tomorrow? So then I look at my list and I say, okay, I want to do these 3 things. Put them in and I go to bed. The thing this does is it removes that clutter from your head so you can have a restful sleep. Sleep is important, and you can wake up fresh the next morning and know exactly what you want to work on. So then you go down and you say, okay, cross those off because I finished those on Tuesday, and maybe it's only noon and I finished all 3. Well, let me just go ahead and pull a newsletter in or a blog in or something for my groups in and get that off my list. So you can pull in more as you complete each one, but the objective is to complete and move on, not to spread yourself thin across multiple bullet points. Work on one, cross it off, go down to the next. Cross it off, go down to the next. Cross it off, and if you're done from what you planned and you want to do more, you can pull in another one. Cross it off, pull in another one, cross it off. Now, if on Tuesday something comes up and it's a new activity, I can choose to say, okay, this is a high priority. I'm going to plug it into my brain dump this week. Or I could say, nah, it can wait till next week. And I just put it down on my brain dump list. Because remember, after this week is complete, I'm going to create another one for the next week. And I'm going to go to my brain dump list. I'm going to choose my top ones. I'm going to fill it in. And then I'm going to work that week the way I worked the previous week. Okay, so I do that Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, all the way through the weekend. Typically, the weekends are pretty light, especially when it comes to business activity. I try to focus on my family, and we focus on doing fun stuff rather than me always working. So those are lighter on purpose, and I actually make them smaller so that I don't feel the need to fill them up. Now, when I get through this list, through the week, like I said, I create the next weekly spread. Something I do above and beyond this. Now, this is how I get work done. What I also use my journal for is to actually journal my days. So if you want to make this a living, breathing journal for your children when you are old and your children look back and want to see what you did or the things that you wrote, it's a wonderful way to create memories and to create entries that they will absolutely love and that you'll love years down the road. So for me, I also journal my thoughts, my memories, things that I did each day. Now, it's not a whole lot, and in fact, I do this day to day. I actually just created my first 3 for the purpose of this video and to give you an example. So the new year, I know we're gonna have stuff on the new year that I'm gonna wanna create a memory page for. So this page is dedicated to just the new year, and I'll write about our new year and something probably about what I've done or what we did as a family. It'll be a memory page. So you can create pages of memories. And then each day, I journal what I did that day. So it's sort of a duplicate of this section here, but it also is other things, maybe other personal things that you want to comment on or write down. Like I said, my goal is to read every single day. So any quote that I pick up, it's my quote of the day, I'm gonna write out there. So my children will always see that there's a quote, an inspiring quote for them. I work out daily. I'm a fitness coach, so I'm logging my workouts. If I run, I might put my running up there. Like I said, I typically go with the flow each day. Some days I skip because I forget. Hopefully that won't be the case in 2017. But for the purpose of this exercise, I did want to show you what a daily log might look like. And like I mentioned, you will create memory pages inside here. So if I show you my practice log that I started earlier this year. This was actually the first week I started, so it's super pretty. I spent a lot of time on it because I wanted to tap into my creative side. So my family went to the San Diego Zoo and I made this beautiful lion. We went to SeaWorld. I attended a leadership event. So you can see how you can spice it up if you are the creative type. Doesn't have to be this way. It's just who I am. It's what I love to do. It inspires me, so I like tapping into that. The layout of my miracle morning, and then like I said, the memory pages. So what happened on November 8th? We had our election and we elected the next president of the United States. So I did a chart of how that laid out, and obviously those last 3 states that were taking so long, I need to go back and color in. I had a race on November 6th, so I created a little race memory page. There's lots of this that you can do. I wrote my children. I actually talked to them the morning after the election, and I wrote down what I said to them so they'll remember that day. I ran a marathon that weekend. We took a spontaneous trip as a family out to Richmond. So it's a little memory. So this is what it might look like as you start to journal. I had other just kind of brainstorming sessions, note pages. I track when I wake up and what the weather's like each day too. We're in December, so I did little ornaments for my dates. I had started to write out my 2017 races when I realized, oh, I'm going to have a 2017 journal. So I started putting them there. And like I said, when a quote inspires me, I might do a whole page as a quote. So this is how I journal. I hope that gives you some ideas, some inspiration. It's something new. It's something different. It taps into a side of my brain that inspires me and really helps me be productive every single day. Of course, this is a personal journey when you bullet journal. You can choose to do it however you wish. It is not a specific way. There isn't a specific way. That's the beauty of it. It is who you are and what you want to make it. I'm so excited to share more videos with you as I plan through the year and as some of these collections start to fill up. I'll come back and report through the year and share more with you. All right, guys, I hope that helps. Thanks.